Hi, Maria.
Hi.
Welcome. My name is Amanda Thompson. Have a seat, first of all.
Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for inviting me.
You found my office okay?
Yeah, it's just perfect, yeah.
Excellent, excellent. So I'll just start off with an introduction about myself, and then we can learn more about you. First of all, I'm the HR manager for ABC Pharmaceutical Company. I've been with the company for about 6 years, and I do a lot of the recruiting, probably about half of the recruiting, and I also do a lot of the associate engagement initiatives. So anything you want to learn about the people side of the business, I'd be happy to do my best to answer that. Do you have any questions for me right at the start?
No, nothing.
Okay, well, we'll give you a chance to ask them again at the end.
Sure.
So this interview is going to be comprised of a mix of questions. I do like to ask some behavioral questions, so I'd ask for you to think of a specific time when you exhibited a certain skill. And I'll also ask you a situational question, so that would be, what would you do in this type of situation? Now, with those questions, sometimes you need a bit of time to think, so take the time that you need. Absolutely. I think taking a little extra time is good. Is good for both of us. So silence is just fine. And also, I will be taking a few notes. So if my head's down and I'm staring at my paper, that's why I'm just wanting to make sure that I've recorded what you've told me, and so I can make a proper assessment at the end of our interview. Sound good?
Sounds great.
Great. Okay, and feel free to refer to your resume at any point in the interview as well. So first of all, can you highlight some of your background and work experience that you see as a good fit for this role?
Yeah, so I've been selling to doctors for 8 years for now. In my career, I have a science degree, which is very beneficial in my field. I am bilingual and I have work experience in Quebec, which is highly advantageous because, in Ottawa territory has many French-speaking doctors. I also have an experience outside the pharmaceutical industry. I used to work in a sales. Used to work in Canon as a sales representative. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's excellent. Okay, so 8 years with doctors, and you've got some French skills, and you do have some experience outside the pharmaceutical industry, which is nice to be well-rounded. That's great. Thanks very much. Now let's look at a behavioral question. Can you tell me about a specific experience in your past where you were able to influence someone?
Sure. I had an experience with HealthScreen, and where I used to sell software to doctors. So I had a large family health team. It included 6 doctors who all had to agree on one software program. So I had 5 doctors on board, but the 6th one was proving to be tricky. He had his mind set on another program because that's what they had used in the past. So I kept asking the doctor for some time to discuss, but I kept getting the brush off. So finally I diplomatically insisted the doctor to give me 15 minutes, one-to-one, and at the end of the day to demonstrate the software to him. And after an hour, the doctor stood up and shook my hand and told me they could see all the benefits of my software. So yeah,
that's great.
at the end.
So your persistence paid off.
Yeah.
That's excellent. That's very rewarding. Got that last guy on board. Very good.
Finally.
Okay. Now it's important to have an analytical mind and a strategic mind, and we do look for people who have a business sense in terms of the way they sell things. So can you think back over the last 5 years and describe a specific time when you had to use your analytical abilities to solve a problem or improve your results?
Sure. So yeah, each year we have to take a hard look at our personal results and determine how we can increase the market share. So as part of my annual business planning, I carefully analyzed the prescribing habits of every doctor in my region and came up with a step-by-step strategy. So as of how I would increase the prescriptions for each doctor. So by analyzing the results, I could see patterns and within regions, so I could also see where my budget for events should go, because I knew which doctors would be most impacted by the funds. By analyzing the prescribing habits of my doctors, I have steadily increased my market share, and every single year with Bristol Myers script.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Now, were you doing this on your own accord, or were you doing this because your manager told you to do this? Is this the way the company protocol works, or was this because you thought that this is how it should be done?
I just thought like to go on the extra mile and go forward and like just do it on my own.
That's excellent. I'm sure your manager is very pleased about that.
He was.
Excellent. Okay, now this one's a situational one, so it's a how would you handle it type of question. All right, a colleague has made you aware that they're not taking their job with ABC Pharmaceutical Company seriously. They admit that they're spending time at their cottage, and they are entering false sales calls into the database and working very short days, especially in the good weather. And when they do meet with doctors, when you do send them at events, they are anything but professional. How would you handle this colleague's behavior?
So actually I consider myself being very compliant, and so this type of behavior would be very hard for me to ignore. I would basically talk to the doctor that does such a thing, to the employee I mean, and the one who I think is not taking his job very seriously, and I would give him or her some specific examples of how and why I was concerned. And then my first course of action would not be to running to the manager, but instead like talking to him and trying to improve this behavior. But I may bring some of my concerns to the attention of the manager if my talk has been ignored or not acted to it. So yeah.
So you would speak to the employee directly as your first step.
That's right. Yeah.
And then if you saw no change and improvement in the behavior,
That's
then
right.
you would go to the manager.
That's right. Yeah. As a final step, yeah, I would definitely go to the manager.
Excellent, thank you. Now, an important part of sales is to be able to make an impact and to be memorable, because you don't always get a lot of time with the doctors. So when you do get some time, it's important that what you say is meaningful and remembered.
Yeah.
So can you think about 3 things that you think about yourself that are memorable? And when you leave today, what 3 things would you like me to remember about you?
Sure. So yeah, that's a good one. So I'm passionate about healthcare. So that would be like my first passion, and my second thing is I'm a business-minded and I'm analytical. So as I hope I have demonstrated this with the example mentioned earlier. And third, like I pride myself on being able to build rapport and engage people in conversations quickly. This has been told to me by my manager and clients so many times over the years, and it has served me well in my very sales positions.
Oh, that's excellent.
Yeah.
Well, that's all the formal questions I have for you at this time. I will let you know that we will be making our decision by Friday in terms of who would move on to the next round of interviews. So the next round of interviews would take place, pardon me, with the sales manager, and then there would be a further interview with the national director of sales. So it's a 3-parter. So you're at 1 of 3. If you were successful to make that next round, you would know by Friday. But we call all of our candidates and let them know what the result is of this first interview. So you'll certainly hear from us in a few days.
That's great.
Do you have any other questions for me at this time?
No, I think I'm good for now.
Sounds great. Well, thank you very much, Maria, for your time. I appreciate it, and you'll be hearing from us shortly.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
You too. Bye.